Growing up, if you were in my family class today, you kind of heard a little bit about my story. Um, I didn't have a great relationship with my parents, either one of them. And the person that I had the most was my sister, and her name is Bailey. People say that we look like we're twins, even though she's 3 years younger than me. She was my best friend growing up. Being 3 years younger than me, she was always there. We were inseparable. We played video games together. We played Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube. It was a great game. Loved that game. When I turned 16, we were always riding in the car together. We were best friends. We'd listen to music. I would take her to school every morning. I would get stopped by the train going back to my school every day. I'd get so upset. I'd get so frustrated. But it was 30 minutes that I got to spend with my sister. She meant everything to me. She would say that I basically raised her to be the person that she is today. And I'm very honored for her to say that about me, but I am not perfect. I left when I was 18. I left to go to Faulkner University and to be a Bible major, and I left her there. I left her in Auburn, where she lived with my parents. And I didn't realize at the time how hurt she was by me leaving. I had to figure out my own life. I had to figure out what I needed to do, and it was to leave. And that was best for me. But I didn't take my sister into consideration in that. We were best friends. Like I said, we did everything together. She told me everything about her life. And I left for Faulkner, and it ended because of me. And I was the problem. And I didn't realize it at the time. I figured, well, I just got to do what I got to do. I've got to make it. I've got to study. I've got to build relationships. I've got to get the job. I've got to get the internship. I don't need to go home during the summer because I've got to work at this church and do these things. And there were so many things that I missed out on. When she turned 18 and she graduated high school, she left to go back to Birmingham, Alabama. That's where we're from originally. And she wanted to study cosmetology, and I was really proud of her. She didn't want to go to college. She didn't want to do the school route. She wanted to do cosmetology. I thought that was awesome. And every time I talked to her, I didn't ask her about school. I didn't ask her about what was going on with her friends. I asked her where she was going to church. Now, as the older brother and the Bible major at Faulkner, I thought that I had to, because I was the minister of the family. No, we didn't have another minister in the family. It was just me. And I felt like I was her protector, and I had to make sure that she was doing the things that she needed to do, and I wasn't really asking about her. Now, this is my best friend, the girl that I grew up with, my little sister. And I didn't really think about it at the time, and it wasn't up until about 6 months ago. We're FaceTiming, I'm FaceTiming her, and I'm showing her our daughter Marlo, and Auburn and her are talking, and we're having a good time laughing. And we're talking about life and how everything is going. And she said, "Can I tell you something, Blaine?" I said, "Sure, you can tell me anything. I'm your big brother." And she said, "Blaine, you were not very nice when you were in school to me." Well, you automatically, when you get somebody says that about you, you throw your walls up, right? You get defensive. You go, "Well, I was just trying to help you. I was just trying to make sure that you needed to be where you needed to be, and you weren't doing it, so I had to make sure that you had to do it." And she said, "Blaine, you're not my dad. You're my brother. I wanted you to be my brother. I wanted you to be that mentor that you always were, and you left, and then you thought you knew everything." And as an older brother, and if you are an older sibling, and your younger sibling says that, it just right in the heart, it hurt. It really hurt me. And I remember I apologized. I said, "Listen, I'm sorry. I was a different person in college. I had different views. I thought I knew everything, and I didn't. I didn't know anything at that point. I was 21. 18, 19. I was young. And I wasn't looking at myself. I wasn't asking her how she was. I wasn't being patient. I wasn't being kind. I wasn't being the loving brother that I needed to be because I was so self-centered and I know what's best for you. In Matthew chapter 7, verses 3 through 5, it reads this. It says, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? First, take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye." I wasn't looking at myself because I thought what I was doing was right, and that I thought it was coming from a place of love, but it was a place of selfishness, that I knew what was best for my little sister. And when she said, "Blaine, you weren't a very nice person when you were in college," hurt. And it took I had to take a look at myself for a second. And I love this verse in Psalms chapter 139, verses 23 and 24, and it reads this. It says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there's any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." My prayer for y'all, and especially for this weekend as we're talking about relationships, we're talking about these conflicts that arise in these certain situations, is sometimes we have to look inwardly. Well, sometimes you have to swallow your pride and humble yourself a little bit before you can start even blaming yourself. Because you're the last person that you want to blame. Listen, I get it. I immediately put barriers up. I immediately put the walls up. I didn't want it to be me. I didn't want to be the problem, but at the end of the day, it was me. I was the problem. What are you going to do about it? So after that phone call, Auburn and I were talking. He said, "Okay, how do I mend this relationship with the person that I love so much, being my little sister?" And I stopped being the minister in her life. I stopped trying to be the dad that I wasn't. I started just to become the brother again. The fun, loving brother that she always wanted and the one that she really, really missed when I left for school. It's hard sometimes to think of yourself as the problem, but sometimes you are. And I hope this weekend and after this, you can take a look at yourself and go, okay, am I the issue? Do I need to change? Do I need to adjust? And if the answer is yes, the question is what are you going to do about it? Are you going to change? Are you going to fix it? Are you going to be better? My prayer for you, and we're going to pray right now, is that you do change. Let's pray.